Vienna, early 20th century. A city steeped in intellectual ferment, a crucible of groundbreaking ideas in art, science, and philosophy. Yet beneath its glittering surface, political and social tensions simmered, hinting at the tumultuous decades to come. It was into this vibrant, yet increasingly uneasy atmosphere that Viktor Frankl, a young man of extraordinary intellect, emerged. From his adolescence, he was drawn to the profound mysteries of the human mind, particularly the burgeoning field of psychoanalysis. Even then, his observations led him to question established doctrines, setting the stage for a unique perspective that would eventually challenge titans like Sigmund Freud and Alfred Adler. Frankl's early university years were a whirlwind of passionate debates, burgeoning ideas that defied convention, and the first stirrings of romance. He was not one to simply accept dogma. His mind was too restless, too inquisitive. As the shadows of an impending global conflict lengthened, a sense of foreboding began to settle over Vienna, a chilling premonition of the uncertain future awaiting this brilliant young scholar. As Frankl deepened his studies, his own distinct psychological theory, logotherapy, began to take shape. While Freud focused on the will to pleasure and Adler on the will to power, Frankl posited a will to meaning as the primary human drive. This radical departure would define his life's work. Meanwhile, the political climate in Vienna grew increasingly hostile. The rise of Nazism brought with it escalating persecution for Jewish citizens. We witness Frankl's agonizing attempts to navigate these treacherous waters, trying to protect his patients and his family, while his own freedoms dwindled. The city's once grand streets became places of apprehension. Conversations were guarded, and the air itself seemed thick with unspoken fear. Despite the mounting pressure, Frankl, then a young doctor building his practice, found solace and strength in his marriage to Tilly Grosser. Their love story, however, was unfolding against a backdrop of impending catastrophe, forcing them to confront unimaginable choices and sacrifices. The mid-1930s saw Vienna's vibrant cultural life give way to an insidious sense of dread. The Anschluss, the annexation of Austria by Nazi Germany in 1938, marked a brutal turning point. Life for Jewish citizens became a daily struggle for survival, punctuated by arbitrary arrests, property confiscations, and escalating violence. Frankl, despite his professional standing, was not exempt. We see him grappling with the heart-wrenching decision to stay in Vienna, clinging to the hope that his medical skills could still serve. There were whispered rumors, acts of defiance, and the growing despair as friends and colleagues disappeared. The city, once so grand and elegant, transformed into a place of surveillance and suspicion. Imagine the chilling sound of jackboots on cobblestone streets, the chilling sight of swastikas replacing the Austrian flag. Frankl, a renowned psychiatrist, found himself stripped of his professional life, his clinics closed, his writings banned. His intellectual battles now gave way to a desperate fight for mere existence. The inevitable arrived. In September 1942, Viktor Frankl, his wife, his parents, and his brother were deported to the Theresienstadt ghetto. Soon after, the chilling journey to Auschwitz began. This was not merely an experience. It was the ultimate, unimaginable test of his life's work. Stripped of his clothes, his possessions, his very identity, he became prisoner number 119104. The brutal reality of the concentration camps defied description. The starvation, the bone-chilling cold, the relentless forced labor, the constant threat of death. Yet amidst this absolute horror, Frankl continued to observe, to seek meaning. He witnessed both the depths of human degradation and the soaring heights of spiritual resilience. There were hushed conversations among prisoners about survival strategies, desperate attempts to maintain dignity, and the insidious nature of internal camp politics. Even within such despair, human nature, with its flaws and its strengths, persisted. His very act of living, of choosing how to respond, became a silent, powerful testament to logotherapy. Life in Auschwitz was a daily negotiation with death. Frankl's narrative from this period is not just a recounting of suffering, but a profound psychological analysis. He observed that those who found a reason to live, a loved one to return to, a task to complete, a book to write, were often the ones who endured. He himself clung to the idea of reconstructing his manuscript, stolen upon his arrival, a powerful symbol of his will to meaning. The unspeakable loss of his pregnant wife, his parents, and his brother, all perishing in the camps, would later cast a long shadow over his life. Yet even in the midst of this profound grief, he maintained that one could choose their attitude, even in the face of absolute external control. This wasn't a simplistic message of optimism, but a profound understanding of human freedom, the freedom to choose how one responds to suffering. It was a harrowing, real-life laboratory for his theories, demonstrating that meaning could be found even in the most meaningless of circumstances. In April 1945, as the Allied forces advanced, Frankl was transferred to Taufering III, a subcamp of Dachau. Soon after, he was liberated. The moment of freedom was not a sudden burst of joy, but a gradual, disorienting realization. The world outside the barbed wire felt alien, and the silence, after years of constant noise and terror, was deafening. Returning to a war-torn Vienna, the city was a shell of its former self, both physically and emotionally scarred. Frankl faced the agonizing task of confirming the fate of his family. The confirmation of their deaths, his wife, his parents, and his brother, brought an immense, crushing wave of grief and survivor's guilt. How does one rebuild a life when everything and everyone you loved has been taken? This period was marked by profound solitude and the immense burden of carrying the stories of those who did not survive. Yet even in this raw, desolate grief, Frankl found the impetus to write. From the ashes of his personal tragedy, Frankl channeled his experiences and theories into a powerful, concise manuscript. In just 9 days, he wrote Ein Psychologe erlegt des Konzentrationslager, later published in English as Man's Search for Meaning. This book was not just a memoir, it was a testament to the human spirit's ability to find meaning even in extreme suffering. Its impact was immediate and profound, resonating with millions worldwide. Frankl rapidly became an international figure, a sought-after speaker, and a professor at the University of Vienna. His ideas, once controversial, gained widespread acceptance, even as he navigated the challenges of newfound fame and academic scrutiny. He traveled extensively, lecturing to packed auditoriums, challenging traditional psychological paradigms, and offering a message of hope and responsibility to a world reeling from war. Frankl's post-war life saw him rebuild his personal world. In 1947, he married Eleanor Schwint, affectionately known as Ellie, who would become his steadfast companion and collaborator. Together, they raised their daughter, Gabriella. While his professional life soared, he embraced the quieter joys of family life in Vienna, finding solace in hiking, climbing, and continuing his passionate work. Yet the fame brought its own challenges. He faced continued academic debates, critiques of his theories, and the constant demand for his time. Despite these pressures, Frankl remained committed to his core principles:
vigorously defending logotherapy's message of personal responsibility and the search for meaning. He lived a long and impactful life, continuing to teach, write, and inspire until his passing in 1997. His legacy extends far beyond the academic realm, permeating popular culture and offering guidance to countless individuals seeking purpose in their own lives. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor who taught the world how to live, ultimately showed us that even when stripped of everything, the most profound freedom lies in our choice of attitude and our unwavering search for meaning.